So there's a really good chance that the real estate industry, as we know it, could change forever, right? In particular, the way real estate agents are receive commission when it comes to buying and selling a home. Because back in October 2023, there was a huge lawsuit against the National Association of Realtors and other small brokerages, right? And they were found liable for about $1.8 billion in damages. All right, so a jury found realtors conspired to keep commissions high. So this lawsuit not only affected, the NAR and other brokerages, but it trickled down to like smaller brokerages, right? To a point where I think three of them like settled for they came to a settlement, right? And I think it was like $140 million. So they said, you know what, we don't want to deal with this. We'll just settle, so we can just get out in front of it, so we don't have to deal with this lawsuit. But you got the NAR and other brokerages that are also still looking for more lawsuits. Because right now they got hit with $1.8 billion, but they can go up to as much as like $5 billion, depending on other lawsuits and other brokerages. So because of these lawsuits, it's causing other brokerages to rethink, or realtors to think that even if they want to be part of this organization, the National Association of Realtors. And I don't blame them, right? Because for me, I was a realtor back in 2007 and back in 2020, right? So I'm no longer doing that. Like, it didn't work out, trashing and selling any homes. So, but even when I was going through the process, it was just like, man, all these fees associated with just becoming part of this organization. I would think I would just, take the test and then pay a fee for, to get access to the MLS, but you have to pay for the NAR, and they got so many fees associated with that. I was like, yo, what is it? Like, why do I have to pay all this? It's almost like there's some type of mob organization where you gotta pay your due to be a part of their club. And for me, it just never made sense. I was just like, man, I understand you need access to MLS, but does it cost that much to get access to? And of course, they are a huge lobbying group, right? They have a huge lobby, a lot of people backing them. So you're also paying for that sort of protection, especially when it comes to lawsuits. So they have a lot of power when it comes back to how they deal with it. But for me, overall, it's just like, got to a point where I was like, yo, what's the point? Right. And I think a lot of consumers are getting to a point where, like, all right, so why do I need to pay these agents so much money? It's like, I don't really need them as much as I probably back in the days that they used to. But you're hearing a lot more people say, like, you don't need a real estate agent. Like, you could do certain things yourself. And even for me as a real estate agent, like, I understand, like, I know there's bad agents out there and I know there's good ones. And the good ones, they do a lot of work, right? They do a lot. They go above and beyond for their clients. And then you have the bad ones that are lazy. They don't do anything. And so I can get both sides, but when you're hearing more and more people talk about how they can do certain things themselves, especially when you got the advent of technology, right, where people can see the homes themselves, and they can go through the homes and decide, like, if they want to see it, and then you have the agent, maybe give you access to the property, and then people are like, all right, so I'm paying you, X amount of commission to do that. So look at, like, depending on who you are, like, depending on what side of the aisle you could say that, all right, as an agent, I do a lot of work, and then there's people that you're the consumer that's going, like, I don't really need you for that. But regardless of what it is, people are getting to a point where, like, you know what, we don't need it, and especially with technology, like, right. You have AI, right? So let's say you want to sell your home, or you're looking to buy a home, and you're trying to see, all right, determine the value of the property. You got AI, you got technology where it can say, like, all right, we'll take this home, and then we'll search the comps around the area, and we'll determine the value of your home. Or you can get an appraiser, and they can appraise the home for you, or which way you want to go, whichever direction. It gets to a point where a lot of people are saying they don't need an agent, and it's getting to that point, right? So I came across this article on the Wall Street Journal, and it says real estate commissions could be the next fee on the chopping block, right? So that's not a good sign if you're a real estate agent, that they're trying to people are looking to change the way you get compensated. And like one of the ways they're talking about is, all right, so sellers will no longer determine upfront how much buyer agents are compensated. Because how it works is, like, if I'm selling my home, right, basically my selling agent is responsible for paying the buyer's agent's commission. Right, it's not like the buyer who's buying the home is paying is compensating their buyer's agent. It's the seller's compensating the buyer's agent, so they cover that fee. So a lot of people don't like the way that's done. Right, they're like, why? If they feel like that elevates the price of commissions, because let's be real, like, if you're a buyer's agent, right, and let's say the seller's agent keeps it like you only get like 1%, then more than likely that buyer's agent is probably not going to show that customer, that client, that property, because the commission is so low. So it disincentivizes that buyer's agent to want to show that property, which is not fair, because that the person that loses the most is going to be that client, right? That person looking to buy a home, because it could be the home that they're looking to purchase. So people don't like that, the way that process is. And I even came across, and even in this article, you see this guy named John Anderson, right? And he hired a company, REX, right? So and it was a low-fee brokerage company. I think he put on his listing no commission. So he said that I guess they did some investigation. They found that there were agents not even showing the property because REX, they weren't paying any commissions, right? So that I mean, I could see, and they did a bunch of investigation. Let me see what they said. They said so it says REX, which is now defunct, recorded a call with a buyer's agent interested in Anderson's home until she realized there were no guaranteed commissions. She said, I won't bother to show it. She said a former REX data scientist said the recording and about 600 similar ones have been turned over to plaintiffs, attorneys, and the Justice Department. So you see a lot of agents were doing the same thing. They were like not showing properties based on the commission structure. So and obviously for a lot, if the person that's being disadvantaged is the client, because that could be the home that they're looking to buy. So. And this is an issue, and this is an issue that a lot of people have to worry about, because if you're an agent and they're going this hard at how commission is structured, it's gonna you're wondering the effects of this, right? Because especially as a buyer, right? A lot of times buyers don't have the money to to compensate the buyer's agent. So it does help that the seller compensates the buyer's agent for them. So it's going to be interesting to see that if they really go after, or they change the structure of the real estate commissions, where they get to a point where, let's say they pay them an hourly fee, right? You're going to see a lot of real estate agents get weeded out. This is going to weed out so many agents because it gets to a point where, like, all right, what's the point of me doing this? Why pay all these fees? It's just not worth it. Because I mean, look, let's be real. I was an agent. It was so easy to become an agent. All you do is you take classes, you take a test, you pass the test, and then obviously you pay the fees to get licensed, and you find a brokerage. So it's really, the barrier of entry is really not that hard. There's so many. There was a point where there's more agents than actually homes available for sale, right? So everybody talks about how easy it is to become an agent, and the fact that, especially depending on the market, especially now, it's not great times to be an agent. It's just you'll see a lot of people getting weeded out, and if they go to this point where they remove the commission, where they're, as a buyer, you're paying that buyer's agent an hourly wage, you're gonna see a lot of agents being weeded out. And maybe that's a good thing, right? Because then you get the best of the best, searching, paying for properties. And who knows? We'll see how this works, right? Because, I mean, obviously there are issues that you have to worry about when it comes to that buyer and being able to afford having that buyer's agent. And of course, also when it comes to knowledge, right? Because, when it comes to agents, there's some clients that just don't want to do the work, right? So that's why they hire agents, right? They can do the work for them, right? They're busy, dealing with their lives. So they have the agent do everything for them, make the calls, set things up, and the client doesn't want to deal with all that. But there are some people that they say, hey man, it's not that big of an issue. So it's going to be interesting to see how people deal with that, because this is going to be a big change, right? Because like I said, there's still more lawsuits coming. And they're going to still try to figure out how they're going to go about compensating real estate agents, or how people deal with real estate agents in this industry. So as this evolves and has more lawsuits kick in, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of laws that are implemented when it comes to dealing with real estate agents. And like I said, it's going to be a lot. You'll see a bunch of people, a bunch of agents just getting weeded out. Because I think there's how much they said? I think there's 1.5 or 1.6 million real estate agents, realtors, and stuff like that. It said, I think in the article, it was half of them are going to be gone, right? Half of them are just going to be gone. So, and I don't doubt that, because the real estate game is not an easy one, especially with the ease at which people can become an agent. And depending on where you live, if you have, depending on the type of clients that you have, it can determine how successful you are as a real estate agent. So it's gonna be interesting to see this going forward, to see where this goes. So depending on, I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Let me know how you feel about this. Make sure to leave a comment down below. Hit the like button, share, and if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. All right, so guys, take care. Have a good one. Later.